行くぞはっジェノサイカッタ
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and since we know that we're getting SS King and SS Yuri, I thought we'd talk about them and how valuable, especially their cards, are going to be for a lot of players. And some of you might have noticed that we do have the special signature fighters coming soon in 5 days. So Netmarble is wasting no time as far as rushing out these SS fighters, which is something that I don't care for. I really don't want to go into that today. I have talked about that in other videos. I mean, you guys know that I don't really care for it. I think they really should give us a little time to farm and save our rubies, but I guess it is what it is. But let's talk about them, man. So the really cool thing about Yuri and King is that these particular fighters actually have versions in the gold border. They don't have any fest version, which is always kind of crappy, right? So it's really awesome that they are getting SS versions, but they have gold border versions, they have bronze border versions, and they have silver border. And the reason that's really awesome is because whenever you get down to the bronze versions of these characters, they're like cost 18, cost 36, really, really low cost. And the reason that's good is because whenever we get these new 3PGs for King and Yuri, you're going to be able to use them on these other versions of the character. You're going to be able to use that Yuri 3PG on this Yuri, right? And she's cost 24, so you could actually use her in certain parts in the epic quest to get it done. Now, this is really going to be applicable for newer players. And also the other thing is, like, because of this, because these low-cost characters, you'll be able to use them in the team relay dungeons. So these dungeons that have these really, really low costs, like right here, it's cost 15 to 30. Those low-cost characters, because they're going to have those 3PGs, it's just going to make it a lot easier for newer players to be able to get it done. So if you're a new player and you're just starting out this game, and you're debating on what you should do with the rubies that you're getting from your check-in login event, and this is what I'd recommend for everybody, is really to go for their cards. I mean, this is what we always say during these kinds of banners, especially for King and Yuri, because again, both of them have, gold border, they have, bronze border, they have silver border versions. I mean, here's the silver border of King right here, right? And this is actually a great leadership. We've done videos in the past where we use this leadership, and she's cost 33 for to decrease skill cooldowns for other characters. Matter of fact, a version of Yuri, to do infinite combos. So that way, whenever you're facing a certain boss, like say Orochi in Epic Quest, you can just keep them up in the air, keep knocking them around, and get it done. And you don't really need a 3PG for that per se, but it will come in handy for the new team relay dungeons. And in all honesty, like whenever you're leveling up, like say a gold border version, like a really good one would be Yuri right here. Like this version of Yuri is actually really, really good. I used her in RHD because you do need a blue defensive team. So having a 3PG for her would have been very, very helpful. It would have been so awesome because her 5PGs are really, really short, and it's 5 PG, right? You got to build up 5 bars of PG before you can actually do the skill. Whereas with a 3 PG card, you only have to build up 3 bars of PG, which is a lot easier. It's a lot faster. So that is something to think about when it comes to these characters, man. I mean, it really is going to help a lot of newer players. I mean, for us veterans, maybe it won't help as much, right? It's probably not going to help us as much. But I mean, it is something to think about. And, what can we expect for these characters? Well, I mean, let's take a look at our most previous SS characters. There we go. Okay, so something that they've been doing with a lot of the previous SS characters is they've been giving them a lot of shields. And, like this shield here for K is freaking awesome, right? You got a shield that can come up on a 15-second cooldown, and it has no HP pull, which is awesome. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're 40% HP or 30% HP or 70%, it doesn't matter. This shield can always go up as long as it's off the cooldown, which is awesome. This really increases survivability of characters. Shield is OP as far as defenses, man. Your opponent's got to hit you 20 times to break the shield before they can even do any damage to you. Dot doesn't work on the shield, nothing. You're completely immune to any damage during the time of the shield, which is awesome. And something that we did find out, like this same shield effect, which in my opinion is the most OP shield effect, Guinness actually has. And I know he's a BS character, but let's be honest, when it comes to BS and SS, they're very, very similar. They're both OP types of characters in KOF All-Stars. And they gave Guinness the exact same kind of shield. However, the difference is, with Ginnets here is, versus K, right, being a balance type fighter, is that Ginnets actually is an attack type fighter. So he has really low defenses. So whenever his shield isn't up, and he's got the most powerful form of the shield, he's a paper character. So something that I'm really hoping to see, especially knowing that we know that Yuri is a green attack, is I'm hoping to see some kind of other passive, right? I would really like to see this shield because I think this is the most potent form of the shield. I mean, there's other shields when you get down to 50% HP. It shows up when you get attacked. And maybe that's what it is with Guinness, right? Maybe that's really more of what it is because his shield only props up when you're doing an attack, when you hit your skill, right? It's not like other characters that have a shield, like say like Leona here, that actually gets a shield when you are attacked if your HP is 50% or more, or Neo Tengu, right? Or Neo Tengu, sorry. Their shields are really OP because, say like you're in Guild Raid and Geese does his Raging Storm. You're going to be immune because your shield's just going to automatically pop up. Whereas if you've already used your skills and then he goes into his Raging Storm, you can't use your skills and the shield won't be up, right? If it's still on that cooldown, you can't bring up the shield. Whereas it seems like these shield effects where you get attacked, it seems to work a little bit better in Guild Raid. I mean, Leona's pretty much immortal in that damn thing. I mean, she just doesn't die. I mean, yeah, she's a defensive character and she has high defensive stats, but part of it might be because, a lot of times, whenever you're facing a game mode like Guild Raid and you use your skills, right? You've already used your shield once and then you use your skills and then Geese does his Raging Storm. You can't bring up your shield again because it's on cooldown. Whereas whenever you get attacked, it just pops up whenever you get hit. So that is something to think about. That might be a better form of the shield. Obviously, though, if it starts off at 100% HP, that would be a lot better than going down to 50% HP. So that's something I kind of would like to see, or just see like an immunity core, like maybe what the DOA 6 characters have. Not immunity, but a decreased damage received. I mean, this decreased damage received that these girls have, the DOA 6 characters, is very, very powerful because it decreased damage received by 30%. And that really, really helps. So just imagine, like a character like Yuri having a shield and then having a decreased damage received on top of it to really increase the survivability. You can pretty much bet they're going to be strong. As far as what dots we'd like to see, I mean, it's hard telling, guys. I mean, they might give them burn. I mean, I know that King has some burn attacks whenever she's doing some things. Maybe they'll give Yuri Starlight. Maybe they'll give her Starlight. I would like to see a Starlight character. The thing is, we know that Kyo and Yuri are returning. And Kyo's already got Starlight. So I'm wondering if Netmarble's going to pull a slick one and throw in a different dot on Yuri and King. So that way people are more motivated to try to go for them. Because Starlight is a very sought after dot effect. It's very, very potent, it's very useful in Guild Raid, but it's really, I mean, as far as doing extra damage, it's good in Immortal Dungeons, but we don't need it in any Immortal Dungeons. We don't need it against any other opponent in the game other than Guild Raid, right? But Guild Raid is where we get the most valuable resources, and that's why we put such high stocks on that dot effect. But they could give them double dot. Right? They could give them double dot, which would be freaking amazing, like put a certain dot on their default, like they've done with previous characters, or something else that'd be really, really cool is have a 10-second dot, like, what Ignis has had. Ignis has a 10-second dot on his first skill, which is nuts. That is crazy. And, the reason that's awesome is because, whenever you apply a dot, if it lasts for 10 seconds, you can apply your dot, run through your skills, switch to your next character, and the dot's still being applied. So it's a lot easier to break the meter against Guild Raid. And I would love to see something like that. Man, a 10-second Starlight. And again, I know, we're getting Kyo, so more than likely they probably won't put Starlight on King and Yuri. But I'm kind of praying for it. I'm kind of hoping they do give them a little something. I would like to see some Starlight, or at least as a striker bonus, something to make it a little easier for people in the Guild Raids that need that Starlight damage. But I mean, something to look out for is Shock, is Starlight, because that's what we use on Expert Mode, or Poison. Right now, Zero is the only BS character, or there's no SS version that has this, that has poison damage. He's the only one. So that is a very sought after dot effect. I mean, yeah, we can use other strikers. We can use Zhang Fei as a striker to apply poison, just like we can use Lady Yashiro to apply shock. Both of them do 10-second dot damage from the striker bonus. But having a character that can actually apply the dot is OP, right? It's just way better and a lot easier because you don't have to switch between your strikers at all. You can just use your character, bring them in, apply the dot, start doing a bunch of damage, build to be 3PG, and then we know that their 3PGs won't get interrupted. You can pretty much bet that Yuri and King are going to be exactly the same. So that is something that I'm looking forward to. I mean, if we see poison on one of these characters, then you're going to think to yourself, Nightmare Geese, expert mode? Yep. Yeah, right. That's gonna be a telltale sign for these characters that they might be really, really good for expert mode on Guild Raid. And we know, like from Leona, that even though she has burn, she's still freaking awesome for expert mode in Guild Raid. She's still freaking awesome because her damage is just absolutely insane. And something else that'd be really, really cool that we haven't seen from any SS characters is if their core default, I'm going to switch back on Ignis here for this one, whenever they do their core default, it doesn't get interrupted. Ignis is really special because whenever he does his 3PG or his core finisher, he doesn't get interrupted, right? He interrupts Nightmare Geese from doing the Raging Storm and applying darkness on the ground. And that is OP. So if they did something like that for Yuri or King, they would be the first SS characters that actually do that because no other SS characters, when they do their core finishers, they all get interrupted when they do their core finishers. Not their 3PG, but their core finishers. So that would be something to look out for as well. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do for these characters to make them very strong. And I know they're going to be strong. My worry is that they're going to make them even stronger than what we've previously gotten. And I just, I've talked about this before in the past when it comes to power creep. I don't think it's good that we just keep introducing super powerful characters, being stronger than the previous ones. I really would like to see more balance between these characters because the truth is, they're getting so damn strong that content just becomes easier and easier and easier. And if content becomes easier and easier, it will become boring for a lot of players. But let me know what dot you'd like to see on these characters. Let me know what effect you would like to see. Would you like to see a shield? Would you like to see an immunity core from like Kyo and Yuri? Would you like, what kind of shield would you like to see? And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.